welcome to Monday Meditation, The Joy of Sitting. This hour, between 6 and 7 p.m. Pacific Daylight Savings Time, is our Monday Meditation, The Joy of Sitting hour. This meeting is dedicated to experiences and looking at challenges and difficulties with meditation and mindfulness practice. And as we go through the evening, if you have comments, concerns about meditation and mindfulness practice, please write a comment in the comment area, and I will include that in tonight's meeting. Also, if any of you are interested in a breakthrough course, a 59-day program that can help you to have breakthroughs in your life, whether they're personal issues or trying to achieve the next milestone in your life, or dealing with aspects of life that can be difficult, repeating patterns. The daily practice of loving kindness is an incredible program that includes ways to interrupt these processes so that you can go beyond where you think you can go in terms of your concepts, beliefs, and all of that. It's an incredible program. In order to check it out, please come to my website, Art of Connection Now, as one word. That's artofconnectionnow.com. And you'll find numerous blog posts and also a way to enroll in the 59-day course. Let's go ahead and begin for this evening before we get rolling too much. Waving back to, looks like BR_Bridget 4270. Thank you for being here tonight. And Steph Recovers, wonderful to see you. And Junior 0925820, thank you for being here. So tonight's meeting will encompass 3 different styles of meditation and some talks. And if there's a specific area that you would like to delve deeper into, please make a comment so that I can include that in tonight's meeting. Let's take a look, first of all, about the space that you have for yourself, all of yourself, not just the parts that you like and prefer, and not just the part that you want to be known about or known for, but all of your parts, whether they're pleasant or unpleasant, whether you're happy with them or not happy with them. It's difficult to deal with the parts that we're not happy with if we're not able to get there, if we have no space to have one of those. Because if we have one of those, the best way that we can find out how to deal with it is by coming to understand it globally. Not just how it got there, but what's it doing in your life now? What purpose does it fulfill? And does it invite you to do deeper work, to really look at what that's about for you? And cycles can be very difficult to break because mentally, when the cycle is reinforced, there are certain things that happen within our neurology in our brain with neurons and all that kind of stuff. So when it's innervated, when there's energy that goes into it, there are certain brain chemicals, neuropeptides, that are released. And the neuropeptides help us to feel reassured of who we are and give us a lot of different things, a certain type of joy. And even when the pattern is not a pleasant one, we do get something out of it. It reinforces something. And so in order to break that cycle, we have to know what we're going to put there instead. We can't just leave it like we're not going to do surgery to remove it. We're going to transform. And in order to transform, typically it involves some transformational process. So part of the process can include coming to understand what your self-concept looks like regarding this specific item. And by giving yourself space to have one of those, you already are at least part of a step down the road, because once you tell the truth, that's the first step, isn't it? When we come out of denial, and that's all of the process, all processes of change start with, is by identifying what our voice of denial sounds like. What do we tell ourselves that keeps it buried, and also buried so that we don't really have a chance to change it because we can't admit that we have one of those. But when you finally get to the place of realizing that you need to admit that you have one of these, that's the first step. And that kind of space to have one of these is the space into which you get to grow and you get to develop yourself. So big kudos to you all as you admit you got one of these, because that's the first step. So spaciousness, having space for yourself, and as we grow and develop space for ourselves, it also helps us to have space for others that may have similar things as you do. They may be very different. Are you willing to admit that the other person has the right to have space for whatever theirs is? And of course, you get to choose your proximity, how close to that you want to be or not be, giving them space to figure that out, to have one of those and come to the same decision, really, come to the same realization that first they have to admit that they have one of those. So now this opening meditation involves what I call a spaciousness. It's a spaciousness, and the spaciousness of this is that in this meditation, we take a look at the space that our thoughts and emotions arise within, whatever that is for you, wherever that is for you, probably inside yourself somewhere. Your thoughts and emotions arise, and they don't occupy all of the space that is. It may seem like that at times, but they arise within a specific space. And we'll do this meditation in just a moment. As you have space for your thoughts and emotions, a tremendous freedom is born, in which you get to experience more of your reality, and not just a specific thought and not just a specific self-concept, but something, you start to experience something that goes beyond all of that. It's the space that all of that arises within. And there can be a very fluid aspect of this, where it flows through, and in that there can be a great release. So let's see what we do with this. And again, if you have any questions or concerns about this meditation, or about having space for yourself, or any other topic, please write in the comment area. So very gently repositioning your body on the surface that your body's resting upon, whether it's a chair or wherever you're sitting, whether you're sitting cross-legged on a meditation cushion, or however, whatever position you have for your body. Typically speaking, sitting upright in some way is better than reclining entirely, because when we do recline all the way, often what happens is we fall asleep. And with meditation, we are working on waking up. So they're somewhat counterproductive where it comes to that. So very gently allowing your eyelids to come closed. Let them drift downward until they do close. And taking a slow and gentle deep breath in, and gently releasing this breath and allowing your breath to find its own natural rhythm once again, free of control. and bringing the very center of the focus of your attention to your experience of breathing. This type of breathing that often we do with meditation is called diaphragmatic breathing, which means it isn't a shallow breath and it's not hyperventilating. It's a normal fluidic motion of your breath, meaning that as your breath comes in, notice how your shoulders, chest, and belly wall expand on your inhalations and decrease in size or contract on the exhalations. And it's not a hard contraction, just easy. Easy breathing in, noticing how your chest, shoulders, and belly wall expand on your inhalations and decrease on your exhalations. And noticing how this movement of your body accommodates breathing, your in breath and out breath. In addition to noticing this movement of your body that accommodates your breath, noticing the warmth and the coolness of your breath. And also noticing the moist and the dryness of your breath. And noticing the depth and the shallowness of your breath. And while you're noticing how your body movement accommodates your breath and these other qualities and distinctions, experiences of breathing, also noticing this thumpity thump, the beating of your heart and your pulse that travels throughout your whole being. And while you're experiencing your body movement with your breath and these various qualities and distinctions of breathing and the beating of your heart and your pulse, beginning to notice the space that your thoughts and emotions are arising within. And noticing if your thoughts come and go or come and stay. Notice if they're fantasies with storylines and different things, perhaps recaps of your day, or just fantasies about anything. Notice the space that your thoughts and emotions arise within. And notice if there's body engagement. Are these thoughts, your thoughts and emotions, heavy? Are they dark? Are they hot? Are they light? Are they cool? Noticing the space that your thoughts and emotions arise within. And as you experience the space that your thoughts and emotions arise within, notice this gentle calm, this calm feeling within this space that's always right here, and softening into your calm while experiencing your body movement with your breath, these qualities and distinctions of your breath, the beating of your heart and pulse, the space that your thoughts and emotions arise within, and this gentle calm that's right here. And as you soften that much more deeply into your calm, perhaps noticing the ease that that brings to experiencing the movement of your breath with your body movement, your chest, shoulders, and belly wall, the beating of your heart and your pulse, the space that your thoughts and emotions are arising within, and this calm that's always right here. And as you soften that much more deeply into your calm, notice if it makes it easier to experience the way your body moves to accommodate your breath, these qualities of your breath, the beating of your heart and your pulse, and this space that your thoughts and emotions are arising within, and this calm that's always right here. And as you let yourself soften into this calm that much more deeply, perhaps noticing how deeply your calm rests within your being, and taking another moment to unhook and float and drift within this calm that's always right here, and allowing this calm, your calm, to saturate your being as you soften that much more deeply within it. And taking another slow and gentle deep breath in, and gently releasing this breath and allowing your breath to find its own natural rhythm once again, free of control. Slowly beginning to move your fingers and your toes, gently stretching your hands and your feet, slowly moving your wrists and your ankles, gently shrugging your shoulders and stretching your back and your neck and your arms and your legs. And when you're ready, slowly let your eyes come back open and notice if the room and space around you seems a little different than before. And if you feel different than you did, if there is a difference and you're curious about this difference or really enjoying it, please soften into it and recognize that this is a gift that you've given to yourself. And waving back to thinkwise_11, waving back to 3 red circles. Thank you for being here. Waving back to Jose Messias Das 53. Thank you for being here. It's great to see you again. So once again, if you have comments or concerns, specific things that you would like us to talk more deeply about this evening, please write that in the comment area. So that's our opening meditation for tonight. Next, let's take a look at embracing all your feelings. So typically, most people appreciate the good feelings and could do without the other feelings, the feelings that are uncomfortable. And yet there's so much in the uncomfortable feelings that potentially could be a benefit if we weren't phobic of feeling uncomfortable. And so maybe a step in that direction is first of all to admit, oh, look, I'm uncomfortable here, or I'm feeling this feeling. It's unpleasant. It's not what I prefer. It's not a warm fuzzy. And it touches some deep places inside of me. So the first step is to admit what you feel. Oh, look how I'm feeling, whatever that is. And part of this acknowledgement, this step of consciousness to admit that you have one of these, is so that you can own your entire emotional anatomy, pleasant and unpleasant, and begin the process or deepen the process of healing the mind body split. And as you do that, then there becomes a new dialogue in terms of having feelings, not necessarily because someone made you feel a certain way, but you have feelings with regard to what's showing up in your life. And maybe with certain people, that's not something they care to talk about. But with other people, it may be a very rich and rewarding conversation to talk about what you do feel. And not necessarily because someone made you feel it, but just because it's interesting that you have certain feelings, whether they're unpleasant, whether they're pleasant, whatever the case may be, deep feelings. Deep feelings are not always pleasant. Sometimes deep feelings can be very unpleasant, but at the same time rewarding because it's a part of our emotional anatomy. So, in a few moments, we're going to do our middle meditation of the night, which is a heart centering meditation. And I always like to precede that just before that, and one meditation comes into another. I always like to precede it with something I call a body centered mindfulness practice. Now, this body centered mindfulness practice, I was taught quite a few years ago, and I was told that it went back to the time of the Buddha and maybe before. And whether the historical Buddha was the one that developed this or whether it was something that was part of a more ancient lineage that preceded Buddhism, no one has been able to affirm or deny any of that for me. I don't know if there's any record going back that far. So that would have been, what, 2,500 years ago, thereabouts, maybe a little bit more than that. What I know about is that what I was taught, which is this body centered mindfulness practice. So the benefit of this practice is this. If you're interested in this practice and can see that it could actually be useful, because in this body-centered mindfulness practice, we identify the locations and content of our stress, tension, pain and discomfort, anxiety, all of that, whether it's simply physical or mental or emotional and or spiritual, or all the combinations of all of that, and maybe more. No matter how large it is, no matter what combination it is, and we do something called body scanning. We feel where in our body do these reside. And then we do some processing. We process and release and feel this incredible release of what happens when we tighten and soften and that kind of release. So this isn't to not feel what we do feel, but it's to process what we feel so that we're more at peace with what we experience. And it's more helps us to integrate as opposed to fragment. And there's great power in integration and having all your parts. You're much more powerful than if you have to somehow avoid, deny some of your parts, because there can be very important information in what you might not want to feel. And when you have that information, maybe that could be the missing ingredient in terms of what might be missing in a specific relationship, a certain additional level of depth and reality that's based on our human experience. So we might as well have the human experience while we're here. Why not? So let's go ahead and we'll do this meditation. Oh, one other thing. So the heart meditation that we're going to do, heart centering meditation, is one of many heart centering meditations. This particular heart centering meditation that we're about to do is inspired from an ancient meditation that's part of a Sufi tradition. And so that also goes way back. And part of this meditation is understanding that there is this dull ache that we experience in our heart. So, for example, all of us have had losses throughout our life. Some were much larger than others. And yet, even years after those losses and the heartbreak that we went through, there still is this dull ache in our heart. And the dull ache is there to remind us that that is the doorway to come back into our heart. And each of you know what happens, how it feels to feel like you're on the outside of your heart, or somehow you closed your heart, and the hellish sense of having closed your heart. And when you can come back inside your heart, it's incredibly enriching, just in terms of our human experience. So let's go ahead and we'll do this meditation, and hopefully it'll be good for everyone. So once again, please reposition your body on the surface that your body's resting, and very gently allowing your eyelids to drift downward until they do close. And taking a slow and gentle deep breath in, and gently releasing this breath and allowing your breath to find its own natural rhythm once again, free of control. Beginning to scan, to feel on the inside of your body, from the tips of your toes to the top of your head, looking for the locations and content where your stress, tension, pain, and discomfort resides. Whether it's physical, mental, emotional, and or spiritual, or any combinations thereof, no matter how large or how small. Whether it's caused by anxiety, financial issues, political issues, ecological issues, whatever it is for you, no matter what combination there is, or how large or how small, noticing where they reside, the locations and content. So as you scan to feel on the inside of your being, from the tips of your toes to the top of your head, looking for the locations and content where these reside within your being. And giving these locations and content a very warm, nurturing, tender, loving, inclusive, and connecting embrace. And tightening your embrace just a little bit more in order to give these locations and content a very open-hearted, loving-hearted, tender, warm, nurturing, loving, inclusive, and connecting embrace. And softening and releasing. Gently bringing the very center of the focus of your attention to this feeling of release. and allowing this feeling of release to flow throughout your whole being. Allowing all of your senses to register this experience of release, and softening into this experience of release. Scanning once again from the tips of your toes to the top of your head, looking for the locations and content of your stress, tension, pain, and discomfort of any kind, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, and/or spiritual, or any combinations thereof, no matter how large or how small. And giving these locations and content the most gentle, warm, tender, nurturing, loving, inclusive, and connecting embrace. And softening and releasing, gently bringing the very center of the focus of your attention to this feeling of release, and allowing this feeling of release to flow throughout your whole being. And allowing all of your senses to register this experience of release. And softening into this experience of release. And scanning once again from the tips of your toes to the top of your head, looking for the locations and content where your stress, tension, pain, and discomforts reside, whether they're physical, mental, emotional, and/or spiritual, or any combinations thereof, no matter how large or how small. And this time, just the tiniest touch that you're capable of. Whisper soft, barely touching the fringes of these locations within your being. And softening and releasing. Gently bringing the very center of the focus of your attention to this feeling of release. And allowing this feeling of release to flow throughout your whole being. And allowing all of your senses to register this experience of release. And softening into this experience of release. And very gently bringing the very center of the focus of your attention to the dull ache in your heart, the doorway in. And leaning back into the dull ache in your heart and leaning back more and more and more until you somewhat plop inside your own heart. And allowing all of your senses to register the experience of being on the inside of your heart. Perhaps noticing some of the location within you, noticing the location within your heart where your love always emerges from. No matter if your love is for a person, a place, a thing, a two-legged, a four-legged, a no-legged, whether your love is for someone on this plane of existence or any other, your love always arises from this place in your heart. And allowing your love to flow through you and around you. And allowing all of your senses to register this pure love that lives within you. And softening into your pure love and allowing your love to saturate your being. Perhaps noticing some of the essences of love, like caring and kindness, and this incredible energy, this vibration of connection. And you know what it's like to connect with someone, with something, and also what it's like to want to connect somewhere, anywhere, and there's nothing to connect with, and the pain of that want. And feeling this vibration of connection with its want, need, appetite, and hunger, and allowing this vibration of connection to flow through you and around you, and allowing all of your senses to register this pure connection that lives within you, and softening into your pure connection, and allowing this energy, this vibration, this pure connection, your pure connection, to saturate your being. And taking just another moment to unhook and float and drift within this incredible, vast, pure connection that lives within you. And taking another slow and gentle deep breath in, and gently releasing this breath and allowing your breath to find its own natural rhythm once again, free of control. Slowly beginning to move your fingers and your toes, gently stretching your hands and your feet, gently moving your wrists and your ankles, Slowly shrugging your shoulders and stretching your back and your neck and your arms and your legs. And when you're ready, slowly let your eyes come back open, noticing if the room and space around you seem a little different than before, and if you feel a little different than you did. If there is a difference and you're either enjoying this difference or curious about it, please soften into it and recognize that this is a gift that you've given to yourself. Waving back to Laura underscore Ba 639. Thank you for being here. Waving back to Ultimates or Ultimate SCF. Thank you for being here. And waving back to Healing to Whole. Great to see you this evening. Waving back to you. So if there are questions or concerns about meditation, mindfulness practice, and how to implement them in your daily life, this isn't about something foreign. It's about learning tools to help you to deal with what is. Tools that help you feel good about yourself and this life that you have, and to realize your full potential as a human being with no end. It's up to you to decide. So let's talk a little bit about the utility of practice. So what's the usefulness of it? Well, for one thing, as you come out of denial and recognize the truth that you have one of these, and you start to see how it functions. And little by little, perhaps you learn school tools and skills so that you can find a way that's more healing and more centering, more rewarding than just reacting to life. And little by little, you learn how to relate with life. A human lifetime is such an incredible experience. And even the meditation that we just did with this meaningful sense of connection, it's so fulfilling and rewarding to know that you can give this to yourself. And so the next meditation we're about to do here in just a little minute is for processing unpleasant emotions. I call it the generosity practice. So the reason for that is that it's generous for each of us to process our unpleasant emotions. And you're the only one that can do that for you. And as you do, something shifts. And little by little, sometimes a lot shifts. So let me just do a couple more waves and then we'll go ahead and we'll do this generosity practice in processing our unpleasant emotions. I'm waving back to Mr. Yasin Chi. Thank you for being here. And Hillary Saxton, thanks for being here. And Laura Bass 635, thank you for being here. So let's go ahead and we'll do our generosity practice. So a good way to begin is to look at what was the most difficult emotion of the day. Someone said something or didn't say something, something didn't happen, could be anxiety, could be frustration. And the reason for picking the worst one is then you know you're not making it up. So this is what you experienced. And so then as it shifts, you know it shifted. You didn't make that up. And also part of it is that, again, you're the only one that can process your emotions. And when you do, you experience compassion for yourself and others who are also going through their own version, even though what they're going through may be very different than yours, but the feelings of it may be the same. And this meditation is inspired by the ancient teachings in Tibetan Buddhism that are for the cultivation of loving kindness. So once again, please reposition your body on the surface that your body's resting. And when you're ready, Very gently allow your eyelids to drift downward until they do close. And as you bring to mind and heart this event from your day to day, these feelings that you have, these unpleasant feelings, you know that you're breathing these unpleasant feelings in and you're also breathing them out. And the more we think and feel about it, just on that level doesn't make it better. So let's see if we can make it better. On the next in breath, breathing in these unpleasant feelings that you're already breathing them into all of your pores and cells of your being as a gift of generosity and spaciousness for yourself. Breathing out love, kindness, compassion, caring, and connection through every cell and pore of your being as a gift of generosity and spaciousness for yourself. Breathing in your unpleasant emotion into every pore and cell of your being as a gift of generosity and spaciousness for yourself. Breathing out love, kindness, compassion, caring, and connection through every cell and pore of your being as a gift of generosity and spaciousness for yourself. Breathing in your unpleasant emotion into every pore and cell of your being as a gift of generosity and spaciousness for yourself. Breathing out love, kindness, compassion, caring, and connection through every cell and pore of your being as a gift of generosity and spaciousness for yourself. Continuing to breathe, leaving your eyelids closed, and considering if we had some magical device that was capable of measuring all of the qualities and distinctions of human emotion, of everyone on this plane of existence in this moment, even though their circumstances may be profoundly different than yours, how many people would measure so close to your measurement as to be indistinguishable? One other person, 10 other people, perhaps hundreds, thousands, or maybe millions of people, just like you and just like me. And on the next in breath, breathing in your unpleasant emotions into every pore and cell of your being as a gift of generosity and spaciousness for all of them in yourself. Breathing out love, kindness, compassion, caring, and connection through every cell and pore of your being as a gift of generosity and spaciousness for all of them in yourself. Breathing in your unpleasant emotion into every pore and cell of your being as a gift of generosity and spaciousness for all of them in yourself. Breathing out love, kindness, compassion, caring, and connection through every cell and pore of your being as a gift of generosity and spaciousness for all of them in yourself. Breathing in your unpleasant emotion into every pore and cell of your being as a gift of generosity and spaciousness for all of them in yourself. Breathing out love, kindness, compassion, caring, and connection through every cell and pore of your being as a gift of generosity and spaciousness for all of them in yourself. Continuing to breathe, leaving your eyelids closed and evaluating. Do you feel any more compassion for yourself and others that feel as you do than you did before? Do you feel any more compassion for yourself and the ocean of humanity that have feelings just like you do? When you're ready, slowly let your eyes come back open. Notice if the room seems a little different than before. And notice if you feel a little different than you did. If there is a difference and you're enjoying this difference, please soften into it and recognize this is a gift that you've given to yourself. Mr. Yasin Chi. The name of this exercise is from the generosity practice is processing unpleasant emotions. It's inspired by a meditation that comes from the Tibetan Buddhist practice. That original meditation that has inspired is called Tonglen. And so if you look at the work of Chogyam Trungpa Rinpoche or Pema Chodron and into their books on Lojong, you'll see the word Tonglen. This meditation is inspired by the Tonglen practice, and it's part of the daily practice of loving kindness. Thank you for asking. So we're about to close for the evening. What we did tonight is we talked a little bit about having space for yourself. And then we did our spaciousness meditation. Following that, we talked about embracing all of our feelings and really owning our whole emotional anatomy. And then we did some body-centered mindfulness practice that led us into the heart-centering meditation, in which we experienced this incredible sense of connection, this meaningful sense of connection within your heart of hearts. Following that, we talked a little bit about the utility of practice, and what we just finished, what I call generosity practice, is processing our unpleasant emotions. So that's everything for tonight. We're about to close for tonight. And Mr. Yasin Chi wrote, thank you so much. I'm glad to hear that. Beautiful. And I really appreciate all of you for being here tonight and sharing with me these talks and also these meditations. If any of you are interested in joining again at the same time tomorrow night is our Art of Connection community meeting. This is an open community, open to everyone. And part of what's different for tomorrow night is we will contemplate one of the stanzas from the Tao Te Ching and also one of the contemplations from the daily practice of loving kindness. And again, if you're interested in a 59-day course, that is the daily practice of loving kindness with all of its parts, please come to my website, artofconnectionnow.com. That's artofconnectionnow is one word.com, and there's a space there you can enroll and look more deeply at what's there. So in the way that I like to close these meetings, it really comes out of a real ancient beauty way prayer that's part of the Native American church. And when I say the word beauty, what I'm referring to here is a certain type of beauty. And my go-to with this is the Milky Way. So when you think about where our planet's located within the Milky Way, even if we're perhaps originally from the Andromeda galaxy, we're here in the Milky Way. And when we look at the Milky Way, it is so vast and wondrous. It's so large, and in terms of its the space it occupies, and also its longevity is so huge that it transcends our understanding, and it's so magnificent. So this type of beauty is not intended to diminish you, but it's to remind you that you're a part of something that is so incredible, that transcends our understanding. So let's go ahead and do this in our closing. Beauty that is in front of us, and beauty that is behind us, and beauty that is to the left of us, and beauty that is to the right of us, and beauty that is underneath us, and beauty that is above us, and beauty that is all around us. And it is essential to remember the beauty that is within us. Dear friends, thank you for being here with me this evening. There's a word that comes from the language that the Navajo people speak. That word is Ojanahaslain. The word Ojanahaslain means walk in beauty. Ojanahaslain, Ojanahaslain, Ojanahaslain. Dear friends, walk in beauty, and please remember that you bring the beauty with you wherever you go. Walk in beauty. Namaste. Gasho. Many blessings. Have a beautiful evening. Walk in beauty.